Community engagement is a necessary condition of action learning. Those individuals willing to learn how to improve the quality of life of distressed urban residents need to engage in a direct relationship with such residents, forming a true mixed community of learners. Traditionally, urban professionals are trained to identify strategies impacting the physical, economic, and/or social fabric of the community, usually on the basis of an assessment of people's needs. Things like new affordable housing or policies to increase employment or educational opportunities are defined by experts and implemented by them, but expert-generated solutions often fail to promote structural and long-term social change if they don't deal with power. The idea is to train future professionals in the difficult business of empowering communities, which means promoting change through the redistribution of power. Residents can learn about their issues and what can be done about them while strengthening their political ability to make that happen. The inspiration here is the work of popular educators like Paulo Freire in Brazil, Miles Horton in the US, or Danilo Dolci in Sicily, and the work of labor unions and community organizers. Also, students can learn that improving quality of life of people is not just a matter of knowing how to do it, but most importantly is about relationships involving deeper emotional dimensions of knowledge. In action learning, community engagement does not just mean listening to residents or organizing a participatory workshop. It means that different actors, for instance, a university or a community organization, come together and engage in a mutually transformative relationship that is meant to evolve in intensity and frequency over time. Their goal is to become a relatively stable and strong community of action learners, which is a long-term partnership that has the knowledge and the power to generate change. For the purpose of understanding what this means in practice, we can think of an action learning process as a series of concentric circles, where the intensity and frequency of exchanges between different actors is stronger at the center and weaker at the periphery. An action learning module usually originates from a relatively small number of people representing different groups or organizations that identify a common cause and identify the need of both learning and acting, meaning they want to know more something about it and they want to do something about it. We can call this group of promoters, and it should include not just the experts or interested outsiders like academics, nonprofit members, etc., but also representatives of the community or the social group that is affected by the identified cause. Let's call them community members. So experts and community members share from the very beginning both advantages and responsibilities in defining goals, methods, and expectations. Genuine sharing is not easy, especially with a relatively new community of action learners. Therefore, it is good practice to define the learning and action goals and a draft program specifying activities, deliverables, and expected outcomes in an actual document that is called Mutual Learning Agreement. Then, with the beginning of the action learning module itself, the small group of promoters engage a larger group of individuals. Ideally, this group should still include both interested outsiders, such as university or school students and trainees and interns, and community members having enough time and interest to be fully committed. This group can exchange in research activities that require methodological training, which can be provided in the course of the learning experience. Then, there is a broader circle of participants, made of individuals who can be reached only for a relatively small amount of time and are not necessarily available or interested in deeper forms of engagement. For instance, local experts and key informants might be asked to give a lecture or be interviewed. A still uninformed resident has the opportunity to join one or two participatory events. More importantly, since action learning aims at dealing with power, the broader circle should include individuals that are or can become powerful allies. Additionally, outside experts can be invited to provide useful insights and help the local community broadening its horizons of action. The importance of having a stable action learning community comes from the fact that structural change cannot be achieved in a short amount of time, especially in places characterized by long-term power imbalances. Change requires a coalition, synergy of action between a variety of actors, as well as more than one try and rigorous self-evaluation. Did this work? If not, why? What would I do differently? At the same time, action learning communities are hard to sustain over time, especially because of their ambition to deal with power and change. They tend to face significant conflicts that can be very destructive. This is why it is very important to frame an action learning model as one step within a long-term process, through which occasional participants are encouraged to become more active, moving from the outer to the inner circles. As community organizer Saul Alinsky would say, you gain power with no money if you have a lot of people going after the same goal. Another important factor is that action learning, each step in action learning, should pursue a very feasible and actionable short-term goal, so that the partnership proves its effectiveness and gives a sense of progress within a process of slow, incremental change. It is normal that different actors have, at the beginning, different focuses. Some of them, like university or school teachers, are usually more interested in the learning outcomes, while others, like usually community members, are more interested in the action-related outcomes. However, if action learning does its magic, generative, highly transformative experience, different actors grow into a real community of action learners, made of individuals sharing values that go far beyond the mutuality of interests. Many more lessons could be shared, but the best way to approach action learning is giving it a try. There's nothing more powerful than sharing the experience of making change happen while being part of a growing, knowledgeable political we.